Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Centers. Excited to talk to you guys today about blood sugar, about the foods you're eating, and how this can actually vary what your blood sugar, your glucose, and your insulin do. Because if we just go and eat a whole bunch of carbs, a whole bunch of sugar, we know what's going to happen. That blood sugar is going to go up, that insulin's going to spike up. We're going to get this inflammatory cascade. It's going to create lots of problems. So I'm going to get into it today, what the research is showing and what you can do about it as well. So welcome, F8 Well Centers. It's all about getting to the underlying why. Why is the body going haywire? We see patients with autoimmune, with blood sugar imbalances, with brain issues, with gut issues, all types of different things. But the one underlying thread that we've got to look through with all of these different conditions is that there is a why. And there has to be something that's going on. And for most people, there is a blood sugar component. If you just look across the board at all of the people out there that we work with, I'd say 99% of them are dealing with a blood sugar issue. And most people think blood sugar issue and they think diabetes, they think about insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome and prediabetes and all of these different things. But in reality, it's the blood sugar swings that are really the problematic ones. It's not just about blood sugar going high, staying high, and that's the whole issue. So let's get into it. Let's see what this research is showing. So we know, and we've tracked glucose with a continuous glucose monitor with patients for years and years and years, and we're able to see, okay, if you eat rice, if you eat, for all you 4th of Julyers out there, if you eat watermelon's actually one of the worst, makes that blood sugar, I'll see 180s on people. If you're getting these spikes over and over and over, we are going to see that it creates inflammation in the body. It can stimulate autoimmunity. It can drive a lot of different chronic conditions in the body. So we know that stabilizing that blood sugar is absolutely 100% the ground floor number one thing that we have to do. Okay, well, that's cool, but it's not always easy for people to just eat protein, veggies, and good fat. Let me know if any of you guys are able to do that. Give me a thumbs down if you're not able to do that. If every single meal is not just a protein, veggies, and fat, that there's absolutely 100% of an issue here where we just can't do that forever. 4th of July, great example of that, everybody. I guarantee you, if you were at a party, if you were out, you probably did not eat perfectly. So what do you do? Well, here's what the research is showing. The research is showing that, and what they did, they took the same group of people and did this test multiple times and varied it a week here, a week there. And what they found was that the order of when you eat your proteins, carbs, fats, vegetables, all that, the order of when you put that in a meal is very, very important, and almost as important as whether you eat the carbohydrate in general. We know carbs, starches, grains, fruits, root vegetables, all types of different things are going to make that glucose blood sugar go higher because it turns into glucose, and then the insulin comes out and it kicks out this insulin response, and then the insulin in excess is very inflammatory. So what do we look at? Well, the first part of the study, they said, okay, here, eat this carbohydrate, drink this orange juice, and then eat your protein and veggies after, like wait 10, 15 minutes, and then eat your protein and veggies, versus they did the next week, they did it the opposite way. And they said, okay, here, eat your protein, veggies, eat that first, some good fats, some of that. And then, towards the end of the meal, at the end of the meal, then eat the exact same carbs that they did in the previous week. And what they found was pretty astonishing, that the glucose response, that the insulin response was significantly less when proteins, veggies, and fat were eaten first, and then some type of a carbohydrate later in that meal, even 5, 10, 15 minutes later, they found a significant decrease in that expression of the glucose and insulin in the body. So what does this tell us? Well, it's not ultimately that easy to just go, I'm never going to touch a carb again. I wish, right? People always go, what diet should I do? What should I eat? If you're just going to give me a diet, what would it be? It would be protein, veggies, and fat, fruit in between as snacks, a little bit that's not going to spike your blood sugar. But other than that, that would be it. Well, that's not realistic. It's hard to do. People are not going to be able to get as much, satisfaction out of food, all types of different things. So, can we have a little bit of potato? Can we have a little bit of rice? Can we have a little bit of a gluten-free pasta? Can we do some of these things? And the trick is, if you are going to do some of that, do it later in the meal, and like 10, 15 minutes. So you eat your protein, your starch, and then that's kind of stabilizing the blood sugar. And then you go like, okay, let's have some of those little air fried chopped up potatoes or whatever it is. Then you would do some of that, or a little bit of dessert or whatever it is, and there will be less of a blood sugar response. It was so significant that the research team, they said, this is comparable to if somebody was on a blood sugar or diabetes medication. So, it was very substantial in what was going on. And so try it out. If you're checking your blood sugar, if you've been watching me for a long time and you've got a finger prick glucose monitor, or you're wearing a continuous glucose monitor, try it out at home. Let me know, send us a message and let me know what you're seeing. We're going to try this with our patients and we're going to be able to see what actually happens. So try it out. Proteins first in the meal. And if you're going to have some carbohydrate, have them later in the meal. So if you're out at a friend's house, out at a restaurant, whatever, and it's hard to just eat that meat and veggies, eat that carbohydrate later in the meal. So try it out. Sometimes the order we can do things makes a difference. And especially for those of you that are having blood sugar swings, issues with that glucose, try the carbohydrates later in the meal and let me know what you see. All right, guys, take care.